Another day is like the cold and the snow, eh? Just won't quit
Oh,
in
dude,
these parts.
it's killer, man. I just hate going outside. It just makes it so much harder
Yes.
and nasty.
If we have any American listeners, we live in a place where the wind and the air hurts our face. Um,
We walk out in pain.
yes, but we encourage you to come visit because it's also a magical place. Um, your healthcare is better, but ours is publicly funded, so like that's pretty cool.
Well, visiting
Um,
is one thing. Living here, it is different.
yeah, yeah. It's funny. I'm working on a general American accent with an accent coach right now because I do some acting, and we're working on our outs and abouts, trying to get my American abouts, the long about,
You could
not
try
your.
to do this whole interview in American accent if you want.
I've been trying to slide it into my everyday speech. So,
Oh man,
to our listeners out there, if I sound American to you, you please let me know. You hear? Great.
am I
Oh,
convincing enough?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, Listeners, we have a great episode for you today because we are going to be interviewing the one, the only, the occasionally mustached, sometimes bearded, always good looking Richard Thompson.
Yes,
How
known
was
for
that
my good
intro?
looks. That's about it.
Right?
That was great, dude.
I know this is an audio podcast, but gosh, if you could see his face right now, you'd be just as much in heaven as I am.
I don't realize how much smiling I do, and then we watch the podcast over, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I smile the whole time.
That grin is on his face 24/7. He's the golden retriever, friends. He's just so happy to see you.
Fair.
Right. I have a golden retriever, so I can attest to this. I know what that's like. Um, yeah, Richard, let's get to know you today.
Sounds
Take
good.
us take us back to the very beginning.
Hmm.
Baby
Want to hear
Richard.
a weird story about baby Richard and kind of how it ties into my own son is I was born in Midland. I was born
Okay.
at GBGH. My parents were renting my grandparents' house,
Okay.
and I was born. So that house is actually mine now. That's the house I live in.
Wow.
So my grandparents, they moved up from Brampton in '89, and they bought two houses, one on Lescott, one on Victoria Street. My great grandparents lived in the rental until they passed in the '90s,
Okay.
and my parents took over that apartment in the '90s, and then I was born in that apartment, which is now my house. And so my son, so my dad, I was 25 when I was born. I was 25 when my son was born. Conceived most likely in the same house, born in the same hospital room.
Same mattress.
Yeah, that I'm glad to say was not the truth.
Thank
But
goodness.
yes, yeah, some weird coincidences for that, but weird how life is like that, man.
That's funny. Yeah. Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
both your boys are born in that house?
well, yeah, Ezra was born in the hospital, but Cohen was
Okay.
born in the
Right.
house, right? We did the pool birth in the living room. So man,
Nice.
that's an experience that I wish I could share, but maybe is a little too graphic for some of the listeners, honestly.
Right. We'll have to we'll get Emily on and ask her about it. I feel like that's her story to share.
Definitely, yeah. I wouldn't do it justice.
Right.
Yeah, so then my parents moved out of Midland. Like I was maybe two. We moved to Barrie, in a bit of a sketchy neighborhood, Tisha Heights in Barrie.
Ooh.
Uh,
All right.
and interesting place. You know, I have some memories. It's kind of where I learned to ride a bike. I don't know. Random things would happen. Like you just lived on a subdivision with a bunch of other kids, and you know how that can happen. Kids get up to no good.
Right.
We lived in Barrie till I was 7. My dad started working at Honda in Allison, so we moved out to Baxter, which, if anybody doesn't know Baxter, it's like a 300-person town in between Allison and Angus. Easy
Careful.
drive-by town.
Right. Careful not to date your cousin kind of town.
Yeah, glad I wasn't born there, but I think I knew a few guys that did date their cousins, to be
Yeah.
honest. So, but yeah,
So Real shock showing up to the family reunion, like, what are you doing here?
Well, they do make those jokes around here too. So,
Right, that's fair. I'm a
um,
Robitaille, so I get it.
yeah, you make it very clear. I am not related. But yeah, so then grew up in Baxter. Pretty much lived there until I was 18, and then I moved into Angus, and I was in Angus until I bought my house up here in 2016. I've
Angus.
been here since.
So you probably met a lovely lady somewhere in there. Where bring us through that. Did she come
Well,
all the way to Baxter for you? Did you
I'll
meet
be
in the
honest. I did meet
thriving?
a lot of lovely ladies in my time. I will say.
Oh, play alert.
It wasn't by choice. They just chased me down, man. I couldn't get away.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
But yes, after like Baxter's close to Angus, so it was probably the closest town. Spent a lot of time there. Worked there. I worked at McDonald's in Angus for years, and played hockey in Angus. So you meet a lot of friends in town. And so I had met Emily. I was actually seeing another girl, and she was friends with Emily.
Oh, the
And
plot thickens.
yeah, and that was like a really short relationship. A girl I just kind of met. We had invited her up to a friend's cottage, and Emily came along with her. So that was kind of my first time meeting Emily, and didn't really talk too much. And then I would see her every once in a while at McDonald's. You just small town, you see everybody there.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, when we went to Georgian, I was actually going to see a different girl at Georgian, and we kind of got split up because she was in culinary and I was going for business. And I saw Emily in the business section, and I was like, "Hey, I know you. Like, we should sit together." Just smooth like that. It probably was not
Right,
smooth.
right.
And she was like, "Sure."
Wipe a little drool off your face at the same time. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it was definitely like that. I was like so nervous. She was so pretty. I couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't control myself. And she was probably just sitting with me because she didn't know anyone else. It wasn't because she was interested at all. And and yeah, we just kept bumping into each other, and
Right.
that's pretty much where we met. It was yeah.
Sat with you by force. This is a perfect time to premiere our new sponsor, I guess you'll do.com.
Yes, yes.
Dating services for those who are desperate. They're not actually a sponsor. They don't exist. Don't Google that, folks.
Yeah, luckily
So,
at
okay.
19, it's like okay to be desperate. I think your boys are just known to be like on the prowl. I guess I don't know.
Right. Respectfully
Oh, totally
on
respectfully.
the prowl. Yes. Yes. New generation here. So I gotta ask, how did you ask her out?
Um, yeah, I don't know. It wasn't. I actually. So after we bumped into each other a few times at Georgian, we
Mhm.
were both at a party. It was a. I don't think it was a Halloween party, but it was a friend of ours that lived near Georgian, had like a residence house, and they threw a party, and I was DDing for some friends there, so I was like the one sober guy at this party,
Right.
and Emily just. I couldn't take my offer, honestly. She was wearing these pink pants. She had like pink spandex on, and I was just,
Aw.
yeah, killed
Say
me.
juicy across the ass or anything, or what?
No, no, no,
Wasn't
no.
that a thing back
Um,
then?
didn't need
No,
anything written on there for
TNA.
me to look.
Right.
But yeah, no. And at this party, some guy was trying to hit on her, and she wasn't really interested. And I kind of felt bad for her. You could see she just looked uncomfortable. And then there's me, just like, oh, I could hop in here, save
Right.
the day.
I could be your white savior.
And actually, weirdly enough, I don't know why, but she actually kind of came to me just trying to get this guy away from her. So there was a little bit of a, I don't know, man. I don't know what I did. There was like some magical energy going on there because something was just pulling us together over and over. So after that night, I think I had her number already, and I just texted her and said, "Hey, you were really cute tonight. Like I had a good time talking to you." And because I'm
Richard with
sober,
the lines.
there's not even drunk, you know, influence at all. It was like straight honesty,
Right.
and it just so happened that the house that I had moved into, my mom had moved into in Angus, just was like around the corner from where Emily was living. So one night she came over when my mom wasn't home, and we just sat and chatted for like 4 or 5 hours and got to know each other, and great connection right off the bat.
Aw. Those Angus nights. Oh man.
Yeah.
Fire's burning hot in Angus.
Yeah. It was,
Nice.
I don't know. The world just worked weird for us that way.
Right, right. And you guys are married, correct?
Yeah. So we got married last year. Kind of a long time coming because I guess it was about 10 years after we started dating that we got married. Uh, but we're like
There's nothing
practical
wrong with
people.
waiting. Just
Well, we were just
for
like, we knew what we wanted. We wanted to buy a house. We wanted to have kids. We wanted to work on our careers. And so we just always put that in the forefront. And marriage is like, we're not traditional people by any means. So it wasn't super important. As much as my parents or her parents maybe wanted it, it was like, we're going to do what we're going to do the way we want it. And yeah, so then we got married. It was a beautiful wedding. As what usually weddings are. Like, how could they be bad unless the
right.
bride leaves?
I was talking to somebody who got married a couple of weeks ago, and she made this really great point that was like, people always tell you your wedding day is going to be like one of the best days of your life, and you're always like, yeah, okay, it's sure it's going to be fun, but like, man, like you have your wedding, you're like, shit, that was one of the best days of my life. I'm sure you feel the same way.
I think immediately you're like, can I do that again? Like, can we just
Right,
do that again without the
right,
expense and the planning?
right. Yeah, yeah. No, if somebody else could pay for it, that's good.
I think that's the
Uh,
bummer part is like to do it again, you know the cost. So you're just like, I'm not doing that again.
right. Let's focus on the careers a little bit, and we'll revisit that idea.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's fair. How'd you propose? Did you propose, or was it
Yes.
like a, "Hey, you want to do this thing"?
I proposed in a pretty, I don't know. I look back at it, I'm not super proud of it, but
Oh, come on, own it, own it.
well, I was younger, right? So I think I had proposed to her in January of 2020, so right before the pandemic happened.
Okay,
We had a 6 month old, like as was maybe 6 months, yeah, at the time, and
right.
her sister was in from Alberta.
Sorry, I just had this flash in my head, being like, "Hey, honey, can you come change this poopy diaper real quick?" Oh, what's this? Sorry,
That would actually
sorry.
been better than this, to be honest.
Right. Oh, come on. Okay, so your her sister was in from Alberta.
Yeah, so her sister was in from Alberta, so I wanted to do it
Yeah.
while she was there.
Okay.
That's her only sibling, so it was like a big deal for her to be there. She's lived in Alberta for pretty much the entire time that me and Emily have been together.
Right.
So we only see her so often. So she was visiting. She had her son there, so Emily's nephew, and we all went down to Legoland in Toronto.
Okay. Well, this is a hot start, Richard.
Oh, okay, well, I don't know.
All right.
I guess you don't know what to compare it to, but anyway, we go down to Legoland, and I have the ring. I got the ring ordered to the branch at TD when I was working there, and all the ladies there are just like, "Richard, you're so sweet! Oh my god!" Oh. And like they hyped me up and got me all excited.
Right. Right.
So I go down to we go down to Legoland, and while Emily was distracted, I don't know what she was doing. Probably something with the baby. Could have been changing a diaper. Who knows? I had her nephew help me build like a Lego. Like they had this giant platform, and you could just build whatever you wanted. And so I built like a "Will you marry me" thing with like a heart in the Lego. So when she came over, I like proposed to her in Legoland. I don't know, and yeah,
Richard, that's wicked.
I don't know. I just try to be different. You know me. I was a little bit of an odd duck.
Right? Everyone does like flowers on the beach at sunset. No, not Richard. Legoland or bust. I love that.
Yeah, she liked it, so I think that, and she said yes. So that's all really that mattered.
Right. 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 Nice.
And
Nice.
then
And
yeah,
no,
COVID happened, and obviously that put a bit of a delay on things, and then we had another child, and then you're like, oh yeah, I forgot we're still engaged. Actually, I didn't forget. We're still engaged. We should get married.
oops.
She reminded me often. She's like,
Yes. Yeah. Nice. Um, no, no, Richard, you're an athletic guy. You played some sports growing up, didn't you?
I did,
You're
yes.
you're a hockey player. Are there any other sport? That's the one I know about.
Hmm.
Are there any others
Yes.
that well, I mean, our viewers and listeners. This is a video podcast, people. You can watch this on YouTube, and just see for yourself how good looking Richard is. Um, but sorry. So I know about the hockey our listeners might not know about the hockey. Anything else in there that we should know about?
Yeah, I'm a little bit of an inspiration story, to be honest.
Ah,
I was always like a little bit of a, I don't know, not a chubby kid, but I just really wasn't that athletic.
right.
I always tried really hard, and maybe that's why, I don't know, I stuck to it. Is people just appreciated that I tried hard, even though I wasn't very good. But I remember doing like track and field all through elementary school. I never won a single ribbon. I couldn't, no jumping, no running. I really wasn't good at anything. I never made any sports teams. I think I made volleyball one year in junior. And yeah, but I played hockey from 5. And so that was kind of my sport. It was a sport where I didn't have to stand still much. I wasn't much of a standstill guy. Tried baseball, couldn't do it. Um,
Right.
so yeah, hockey for sure. Uh, so played hockey pretty competitive, rep hockey through most of my time. And I don't know, there's something about that sport that's just, I think it's skating. I love skating. That was like the big part of it.
Hmm.
It was one of those sports where if you just tried hard, you'd have value. You know, you didn't always have to have skill. You could just be a hard worker and you'd bring value, right?
Right. Nick
So
Robertson comes to mind. Although he's finding
yeah,
his stride, I will give him that.
yeah, honestly, just a grinder. Like I was just a guy that would
Right.
just go hard in corners. I was always skating hard, putting pressure on, and so coaches really like that shit. You get
Right.
everybody else motivated and pumped up. And
Yeah.
so I always liked that sport because it brought value. You know, in basketball, that only goes so far. If you're not making baskets or making passes, you're kind of useless. So never really stuck on that. But once I got to high school, I hit some major growth spurt. I was one of the shortest kids graduating elementary school in my grade. And then when I went to high
Hmm.
school, I went from 5 feet to 6 feet. And I became like a bit of a track runner, started doing 100-meter sprints, and started playing other sports, played football, played rugby. That was probably the basis of it. Um,
Nice.
yeah.
Now, do you think you learned anything in those sports that you've carried with you through all these years and into adulthood and into, career and family and child rearing?
Yeah. Actually, one of the things that I really didn't identify until later in my life, maybe as a teenager, was the uncomfortable feeling of like pressure. Like before a hockey game or before like a tournament or something big was going to happen, I'd always like feel a little sick. Like you're just like a little anxious or nervous. And so I'd
Hmm.
always feel sick. And, I feel like identifying that feeling and being like, okay, this is what this is. I'm feeling this way because of this. It's like an impending moment that's happening. Um, I feel like identifying that as a teenager, as I got older, you just start to get more comfortable or aware of that feeling, and so you just deal with it better, and you just identify that's actually good. It, like, is building you up to this moment. So I don't know. I think that was one thing. I used to just ask my mom, like, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel this way? And then yeah, I just kind of realized it was just the nerves, and so it just became a little bit more comfortable knowing what it was. So yeah, and having kids, like there is a lot of pressure. You wait 9 months for this guy to come. You're feeling quite sick. You got that feeling in your stomach.
Right?
um, and yeah, like going into promotions or interviews and these type of things, I always you get over the nerves, and it just helps you kind of perform when you get there. Just I don't know, knowing what it is.
Yeah. I always think that like that feeling was always a good thing because it meant like in your core, like in your being, you give a shit.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah, your
Yeah.
body's like trying to get you ready. You're mentally preparing, and so you're thinking about it. Um, yeah,
Yeah. Now, Richard, I wanna fill our listeners in on how you and I came to be, right? Because it was through very little effort of my own, and I would say 99.9% on my wonderful co-host over here.
it's like very
Well,
similar to my my marriage relation or marriage story.
right? I mean, I think this translates directly from hockey into like every other aspect of your life. Like when it came to his wife, Richard put in the work. When it came to our podcast, Richard put in the work. So yeah, Richard, why don't you enlighten our listeners? How did we meet?
Yeah, so I don't know. There's a bit more a story to the story, but I was really locking down on my business. I wanted to build some relationships with some realtors, and as they're kind of like work in our industry together. Um, so I had to make some calls. I had to reach out to people. Sometimes it was good old fashioned going up and stopping in the brokerage. Sometimes it was making a call, but I was really, we talked about this, the loneliness of working in the industry. You're looking for people that you can work with, that fit the vibe, are going to do good work with your clients. And so you're just in search. And in that search, Ben, first call, I was in a sales regime where we're supposed to call 10 realtors every day. And Ben is the one of the first of probably 100 calls. Actually, I know for a fact it's like 150 calls. And
Wow.
yeah, I actually can't really remember that phone call too much. Obviously, I've made a lot, but like,
Yeah.
you're like, hey, yeah, that sounds great. Cool. You got an office? That sounds great. Um, and yeah, I remember even just like I'm standing out on King Street because my office is in a weird spot and I didn't have a sign up yet. And I'm like looking around for this guy. And then you come walking up and you just got a big smile on your face. Like you're just excited, as you usually are.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, it's my office. We walk in, you're like, oh, cool, cool. And I just felt like that conversation was effortless.
Right.
We sat down and started chatting. We're talking about like being dads and whatever else. And, a bit about our history and whatnot. And it just was effortless and it was good conversation. And then I guess we chatted a little bit. I think we had one referral client that we worked with. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I texted you out of the blue or called you and was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing some social media stuff. What do you think about that? You want to get together and chat? And you're like, yeah, because it's like, that's how you are too. Yeah, of course. I'm down.
Right.
And then so, yeah, I remember bringing the idea to you and you're just like, I'm in. Let's do it. There wasn't any hesitation.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
If I could give our listeners the other side of that phone call when Richard first called me, I'm a nice guy on the phone, I would say. But my first thought was like, oh dear God, another one. Yay, another mortgage broker who wants my business. Sure. Like, great. Sure. Yeah, no, let's meet. You know, but I think Richard instantly, when we met in person, um, was like similar to I think when you met Emily, right? It's like this guy is a breath of fresh air, right? Like he was bearded at the time, so like, hey, that was good.
We call that the
And
Santa Claus or the Jesus effect.
right, right. And there's just something like Mormon trustworthy about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
uh,
Um.
I want to say to that though, my time in the bank, there really wasn't a lot of opportunity to talk to people outside of TD. It was like you talked to people internal, you made relationships with people internal, doesn't matter where they are in the country, and that was important. But making relationships in the community wasn't a big deal. It wasn't important. Maybe to some degree, just not like this. And that's why I just am excited to do this kind of stuff because I just feel like I've been withheld from the world for so long.
Right.
And so, making those cold calls to you or like whoever else, I'm just like, it's an exciting thing for me. I get to introduce myself to the world and it's like, I've been hiding for a while. I don't know. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
There's no like corporate boundary anymore. It's like this is my business. This is me. Hello. Like it's like
Yeah.
this. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, so okay, Richard, on that stream, I've got some questions about friendship. So what do you think makes either friendship last into adulthood or like makes adult friends work? I know, hard hitting questions today.
Honestly, I think just like in any relationship, you need effort, right? That's the basis of everything. Like
Hmm.
both parties got to put in effort, but there's also got to be an understanding that, especially as adults, that our lives sometimes go in different directions. We're busy. We are spending time with other people because the way that life goes, there are a lot of people for you to have to spend time with. Um, but like, yeah, I've got old friends where you don't talk for a while. Like, you know how it is. Friends that you had as teenagers, you have lots of memories, but you're not doing a lot together now. But the effort to just keep in touch every once in a while and just be like excited when you hear back from them. Don't be jaded because they didn't talk to you for 6 months. Just be excited. Think about those memories. Think about those good times.
Right.
Life is long. It's something we don't think about that much. Because we don't know. We're young. We're naive. That life is long, and like there's so much more room for all these memories. If someone's going to go and do something for 6 months and come back and they want to see me. They genuinely care. They're touching base with me. That feels good. I don't know. So that effort every once in a while. But even in new relationships like this, like you do have to put in effort to be spend time with each other. You can't hide away. You gotta be present, be doing things together. I don't know.
Right. Almost like marriage light,
Well, we talked about it like dating, right?
right?
Pretty comparable. If you're not putting in
Yeah.
the effort, you're not going to get the second date or the third date,
Right.
right? Until you've hooked them long enough, and then they can't get away from you.
Right. Now it's a marriage of convenience.
You need me for something.
Right. So I'm going to be vulnerable here and make an assumption about our friendship. But when did you realize like we had crossed that boundary into close friends?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think I always like I'm traditional. Like you have me over at your house. I think that's like a big deal for me. Because that's your intimate space. That's your personal space.
Right. And in your case, it was your father's intimate space too.
Yes, it was. And my grandparents maybe, and my great
Right.
grandparents. To be
Oh,
honest, like
generational.
yes. But yeah, I think that's kind of the first step. You know, you meet my kids, you meet my wife. I met your wife
Mhm.
and your kids, and I don't know. That's kind of a big deal
Kid.
to me.
Hopefully
Yeah,
only kid. Is there more than one? God, I
that
hope
you
not.
know of. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no. So I think that was like a clear indication. But you can tell, man, when you see someone and you talk to someone, and there's like this excitement. Like I can tell you're excited to talk to me, or I can tell you're excited to like tell me things, and vice versa. Like I get off the phone, me and you'll get off the phone, and I'm like, talk to Emily. I'm like, Ben this, Ben that, Ben this, and she's like, how much did you guys talk about in that like 10-minute conversation? I'm like, everything was important. I was excited about everything he said. I don't know.
Right?
So that goes a long way. That's when you know. I don't know.
Yeah. Um, and do you think you're easy to be friends with?
I do. I don't know if that sounds like terrible, but
No, I
I don't
think
know.
that's accurate. I just wanted to put you on the spot a little bit.
I think you're the same way. I think that's why it's like so easy for us to be friends. To be honest.
Yeah. Um, all right, let's get a little deeper here, Richard.
Yeah.
Um,
This is
as
pretty
much as
pretty
you're
deep.
right, all right, let's keep diving. Um, has there ever been, as much as you're willing to share, like maybe like let's call it a season of your life that was really tough, really hard to go through. Um, that like you're at a place now where you can look back on that time and be like, okay, that was tough. I recognize it. This is how I got through it, and I'm maybe you are the person you are today, in part of that because of that season in your life.
Yeah. I think my last few months at the bank, like I'd been there. I just passed my 10-year anniversary, but I just come off a 6-month pat leave, and it was weird. It's a weird roller coaster because I went on this 6-month paternity leave. I had just come off my two best years in the bank. I was, going on trips. They were giving me great bonuses, doing the things that I needed to do or felt like I needed to do um, to have success. But I went on this 6-month pat leave, and I was exercising, and I was in the sun, and I was spending time with my kids, spending time in my house, talking to people I wanted to talk to, going places I wanted to go, and I just felt this amount of freedom I hadn't felt in a long time. And it really, I didn't know it yet, but when I went back to the bank after that 6-month pat leave, I went from such a high to just drop right back into such a low. Um, my diet got back off track. My exercise lacked. Uh, I wasn't getting any sunshine. My office didn't have a window, and I wasn't seeing the people that I wanted to see as much, and my kids. And I think it really made me sick, to be honest. I think in a mental space, there just something wasn't right. I just was going to work frustrated every day, and yeah, that kind of led me to the decision of making a move out of the bank. I think there was other things in play with that, but for the most part, that it was going to happen eventually. Like after that 6-month pat leave, I think it only took me a couple months being back at work, and I was like, I can't be here any longer.
Right.
But that also came with more roller coaster because leaving the bank is not an easy thing. they have you tied down with your pension and your profit sharing and everything else, the relationships you build.
Yeah.
But I went into a brokerage right away, and that was also a roller coaster because I thought it was something I wanted, and I found out it was not what I wanted. It was very much like the bank. So then I ended up leaving that place 6 months later and looking for another brokerage. And then I get going into that brokerage and I start working with that, and I'm getting my business going. And my son's daycare goes to, I don't know, $55 an hour or $55 a day or something astronomical.
Right.
And so I had to pull
If
him out of
you
daycare, and
if you live in Midland, you know that daycare and it no longer exists.
it no longer exists,
Yep.
which sucked because my first child went there and we did like the owner, and
Right.
it is what it is. But
Yeah.
yeah, so
Especially
that
when
I
you
had
need
to,
more daycare.
yeah, we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to stay home with my son part time while I was trying to build my business. That hampered. Winter killed us last year, and then in the spring I had my flood in March, which flooded my basement. Sub pump backup, no
Right.
insurance coverage, and I just finished that basement 2 years ago. So I feel like this past year has been, I guess, almost a year and a half now.
Hmm.
Let's say from May last year to May this year, that was probably one of the hardest moments or hardest years of my life. And some of it by choice, some of it by total chance, some of it by crappiness or crappy people. And I didn't let it bring me down. In May I got my office here. I was already door knocking, already making moves into building my business the way I wanted it. My son was back
Hmm.
at the new daycare at a much better price. The flood, the basement's almost back to normal, but I've done a lot of work to get that back to normal.
Right.
And since May, my business, I think I did one deal before March or before May, and since May I've done 12 deals or 13 deals or something like that. So it's been a big change, but so many people could have been through that entire year and just been on depression pills. They could have been just hiding in their house. They could have had anxiety. They could have just hid away. And every moment I still challenged, I still stood strong, especially for Emily, and she supported me too. And yeah, here we are,
Yeah.
man. I think next year is going to be way better.
Now, is there a lot of like, because I'm assuming at TD and even at the brokerage you were with before you went out on you're with Dominion, but you're basically your own person up in this area, right? So was there any fear surrounding like you had this like cushy, not cushy in the sense of like you had a steady paycheck, didn't have to worry about oh, I got to put together a deal soon, or else the rent or mortgage payment's going to be hard to pay this year or this month. How much fear and anxiety was there surrounding that move, just from a financial standpoint?
Yeah. Working in the bank for 10 years, you're pretty good with finances. So to be honest, I was pretty prepared.
Okay.
Um, whether it was savings or like having credit options, like low interest credit options. Um, I had put myself in a good position to make that move. Fortunately enough, um, I'm not, I take risks when I need to, they're calculated. But yeah, after being in the bank for so long, I had all this profit sharing, like all this money that I've kind of just saved. And I'm like, if I'm going to put it towards anything, I'm going to put it towards myself. I'm going to bet on myself, invest in myself. Doesn't take away the stress of not wanting to do deals. Like, I don't know if that'll
Right.
ever go away. I still can't wait for my next paycheck because, even for us, I don't know how it is for you. You close a deal and it takes like 2 to 3 weeks to get your paycheck sometimes. So
Yeah,
that's still going to
especially if
be
there's
there.
a postal strike.
Yeah. And then spy check. Um, but yeah, so but I was so excited. The love of life, like everything I was gaining, like monetarily, didn't matter. Like healthier, happier. Again, spending time with people that I want to spend time with, building something that I can be proud of, doing good work for my clients when I was doing it, and so the money was just. I know it's going to come. So I just didn't stress. And I will say, yeah, I worked at the bank and I had a salary, but I worked hard. I worked harder than most people. And I will say, pretty much anywhere I go, I am definitely like that. I work harder than most people. And so when I got into this job, it was so easy to bet on myself. And that's why my wife supported me so much because she knows that too. And so she was so
Right.
easily like, hey, I know we didn't have a paycheck this month, but I know you're going to have it next month. She just has that confidence in me. And so the anxiety maybe is there, but I had all these things prepared, and yeah,
Would you say almost like that pit in your stomach where it's like before like a big event or big game? Kind of like the back to that sports analogy, right? Where, there's that feeling because you give a shit.
yeah. I think it adds to, yeah, like not only are you're not used to the commission part, you're also not used to how deals close and like how long they can be pushed off. So it's like, oh, I think I have this closing, or I picked up this deal. I picked up this deal, but that deal might not actually make anywhere. So you can't even count on that as a paycheck until it closes. Right. So that's the headspace I had to figure out a little bit. Because in the bank, it was like, I got this deal and it was like 90% chance it was going to close. But in this industry, there's all sorts of obstacles. You don't know what can happen.
Right.
So I had to learn that.
Right. Yeah. Um, do you think there's anything from that period of time that like may have been like painful to go through, but now like you look back and it's like you're very grateful to have learned that lesson throughout that period?
Yeah, I think I'm going to share this a little bit. This is pretty vulnerable. But working in the bank for so long, like I said, you're so internally connected. All your friends are people you work with. All your relationships you built for years. I worked at the same branch for 6 years with some of the same people the entire time.
Right.
And when I left the bank, people don't reach out. They don't connect. It's almost like they were friends with you because of convenience, or you were forced to be in the same vicinity. So I feel like I had a little bit of hurt after that. People, it's almost like you were there, but you weren't. So I made this decision for myself, and now, those friendships are gone. Those relationships aren't the same. And there's a couple people that I still talk to. But there's so many people that just like you never talk to again that you maybe thought you were even friends with. And so you never know you're going to learn a lesson like that as a grown man, but like to find that out and realize that's a lesson I'm going to take going forward.
Right. Right. I yeah, I love that. Um yeah, no, I'm digesting that a little bit. I'm just gonna
I do feel bad for like corporate individuals. I don't know if it's like that in every corporation, but sometimes I feel like you're only friends with these people by proxy because you're
yeah,
forced to be in the same place with them every day, 9 to 5 for years.
right.
And so you're just friends by convenience. It's not because you actually get along or like each other.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that almost rings true wherever you are because I mean, I remember having friends in high school that you left high school and I haven't spoken to since. And then I remember having friends in university that like you were great friends, you had a lot of the same classes together, all this other stuff. You left university, haven't spoken to them since. Right? And it's like at what point do you think it's this is a question for you. At what point do you think it's our capacity to maintain so many close personal relationships versus like, a lack of motivation to maintain these relationships?
Yeah, well, time is finite. Like you really only have so much time to give. And we talked about the importance of friendship and like spending time with each other and doing these things every so often and
Hmm.
connecting. Um, but yeah, it's just, I also think in high school, there's a lot of people, right? So you do have a lot of choice. You do have a lot of friends. So you kind of do get the chance to pick the people you want to spend time with out of a large group of people.
Hmm.
Um, where if you're working in the same place for 6 years and there's four individuals you worked with the entire time, um, yeah, like you're kind of are, I don't know, you are forced. You're being forced to be there every day. Like, let's be honest. So how can who you're spending your time with be any different? You're being forced to be there with these people.
Right.
But yeah, I think it is hard as we get older because you have kids. My kids are my friends. My wife is my friend, right? They take up
What?
space, a lot of space, right?
Right.
So you only have so much to give, but it makes those like when you have moments like tonight, I'm going to a Christmas party, right? And Reed's going to be there, and he's like, one of my best friends, and so I'm like,
Reed
this is a
Marchand,
window of
another realtor at For Sale on Georgian Bay for our listeners.
shout
Yes,
out.
he's the competition,
Um,
but gosh, he's a nice guy.
But I just know I'm like, okay, I have this moment tonight to make the best of this because it doesn't happen often. So I
Right.
just go into those opportunities, and even opportunities like this. We do a podcast every week, but I want to maximize and make the most of it because this time is limited. And like, so I just have to go all in on these moments.
Hmm. I'd say part of the nice thing about doing this podcast is like my phone's my camera, so I don't look at my phone for a whole hour, and it is lovely,
That is part of the toxicity in our world is we
right?
maybe have 2 hours of screen time in a day, and like how much of that was actually like facing someone. Yeah, big miss.
I'm gonna switch gears a little bit here, Richard. Do you have any hot takes on like just everyday opinions where maybe you're against the grain a little bit? Like what hill are you willing to die on day in and day out?
Oh, man, um, I got a couple. I told you one the other day. I think human beings should dance more. That's a big one. You know, most people would probably look at me and not think this guy can dance or something, but I love to dance. I love music, so like just feeling that music, dancing. I'm not a choreography guy. I don't have moves. I just dance and feel the music.
Right. I think they call
And
that interpretive dance.
I wouldn't even know. But I think more people should just like not feel shamed about it and just get out there and enjoy it. Like that's what humans have done for thousands of years. That's how we've celebrated. That's how we've enjoyed the good parts of life. Like those finite moments you have with people. Like I plan on doing some dancing tonight, and I don't care if I embarrass Emily at her own work event. I am going to dance.
Right.
Um,
I hope you do.
I will. I will.
Right.
So yes, I think that's one thing I do. I will say. But on more of a business or more of like a human being level, I think humans are kind of poisoned by the ability to communicate so easily through texts and emails and that kind of stuff. I think human beings are almost desperate or depressed because they don't have human connection. They're not with humans enough. We're not with humans enough.
Yes. I I don't know if that's the hottest of takes, Richard, I'll be honest with you, because I think a lot of people would agree with you.
You're expecting me to have
Um
something crazier?
yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Um
know. Give me a topic. I'll give you a take. I don't know.
oh, okay.
People should have more babies. Hot take.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, let's that is a hot take.
I'm a big believer in babies, man. We don't have enough babies in the world.
Right?
I was saying this to a friend the other day. He was telling me about a client that passed. Oh no, wait. I have this like kind of belief that like we have death in our life. Death is inevitable, but life is not certain. So we need to
Mhm.
make it certain. And the only way we can make life certain is by having babies. Babies cancel out the death that we have in the world. That is inevitable. And I will say my cousin, her dad passed away. So my uncle passed away this year, and while she was pregnant with her son.
Okay, that's
And
heavy.
it is heavy, and it was it's a lot of grief. He was such an amazing guy, and it was a battle with cancer, so it was tough and long. The only thing that's going to take away that grief or make something feel a little bit better about that their life right now is that baby. And that baby is going to be born next week, and I can tell you right now, it is going to bring something into my cousin's life that she hasn't had since her dad has been sick. And so I'm like a big believer that people should have more babies. You know, Also, population collapse is a huge deal in the world right now, and I truly believe we just need more kids. Just need
Right.
more kids.
Yeah. I mean that's a I think that's a pretty hot take. I do have some friends who are like, are not planning on having children, but like I think there's a part of society that's like, hey, like you need to be doing this. Like, why aren't you having kids? And they're always asked, like, oh, so when are the kids coming along? Like that kind of thing. Or the to the flip side is like you have people who have trouble conceiving, right? And it's like, okay, I know it sounds like an innocent question, but you are opening up a huge can of worms with this question. And I mean, for those having had kids, for the people who say they don't want kids, I get it. I wouldn't trade my daughter for the world, but it is a lot of work. It changes your lifestyle. It's a huge commitment, absolutely. But I would say for those who do want to have kids, have lots. Unless your wife says we can only have two, and then have two.
Yeah, that's probably my case, but
Right?
no, I
Yeah,
think that's it. You do go through a lot, and she goes through the most because it's
a
completely
hundred
body
percent.
changing, right?
Yeah,
So we have to acknowledge that, but I think
yeah,
there's a part of life you just can't understand unless you have children. There's something they give you like lessons. They help you understand your own parents. They help you understand many things,
yeah. Well, I think the most interesting part, and I'm going to speak for myself here, but like you're experiencing the world all over again through their eyes. Like,
which is so exciting. All
right?
those moments like Christmas,
Yeah,
birthdays, Easter, all the little details,
right?
food. They
Yeah.
get to see them to eat certain things for the first time is like an excitement that you've forgotten about or
Like the
become
color blue is the craziest thing in my house right now. If
just a
something
little
is
thing,
blue, blue. Yes. Yes, it is.
which you would not think a second about blue, but she is making a big deal. So now it's a big deal to
Right?
you, right?
Yeah,
I love
it's
that.
pretty
Kids
cool.
just
It
bring
is.
that out in us again. I love it.
Um, yeah. All right, Richard, we're gonna ask you some more thought provoking questions here. Do you have any dreams that you still have and hold on to that maybe you haven't admitted out loud to anyone in a while?
Dreams like personal goals kind of dreams.
Yeah. Or like, I don't know, maybe you have like a crazy reoccurring dream where you're, riding a rhinoceros bareback through like a mystical forest. And if you have any of those dreams, I'm all open. I'm all ears to that too. But um
Um, hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot of reoccurring dreams like that, but I don't know. I'm not. I'm so grounded. I so just like keep myself into like where I'm at and everything. And I am just a believer that if I just do good things and just am good to people and work hard, like good things are going to happen to me. So like I maybe that's again a little naive in some ways because bad things have happened to me. So obviously it's
right.
not entirely true. Um, but that's also gotten me through a lot of the shit too. Um, I don't know, man. Like me and Emily, I think I'm buying a new house next year. I think that's something that we're really going to hop onto.
Right.
Um, I don't know. I want a business where I can train people. I want my business to be more than just doing mortgages. I want to get to a business where I can help other people have careers and lifestyles that I'm having, have that same happiness in their life, sunshine, eating well, exercising, making money. I want that for other people. So that is my dream for my business to have so many employees to do that with.
Right. Yeah. And like Richard, you can also procreate on the same mattress his grandfather procreated on. Uh, sorry, I'm gonna keep bringing that up because that's hilarious. Um, do you think there's a maybe a version of success that you feel like you've outgrown, like something you may have looked at 5, 10 years ago, where you're like, that's what success is, and today you're like, no, that's dumb.
I don't know if they're dumb because it's probably less success because once you achieve it, it's not success anymore. It's done. Whether that's like buying the house, having kids, getting married. Um,
Right.
I think once your kids are born and you know you're done having kids, and once you're married and once you have a house, like those things are like your baseline. It's
Hmm.
all about just like improving in all those areas. So getting a bigger house or getting another house or, being the best husband you can be and like maintaining that relationship strong. I think for me, it's been a lot about like being physically in shape. So I spend a lot of time in the gym. I don't have like major goals to be like ripped or anything like that, but I want to be stronger than I ever have. I want to like push my body to the absolute limit and maintain it as long as I can because I know my boys are going to get older and stronger and I'm going to have to keep up with them.
Right.
Um, and your boys do look at you like a superhero. They think you are the strongest person in the world. They think you are the fastest. And even though I might be the fastest a lot of the time, I'm not the fastest in the world.
Right.
So I want to maintain though as long as I can. I want them to like feel like that's my dad. My dad is that. So that's been a big goal for mine. Is just staying healthy, working on that, and I want my boys to experience things in life. So traveling, I don't know, doing things together, having experiences, that's a big goal. I don't know if every parent has that. My parents, we didn't do a lot of traveling growing up. I think maybe we took one trip to Florida, one trip to Saskatchewan, and that was probably all I did for traveling with my family. So I want them to see the world a bit more than I have. See it with them because I haven't seen it. I want to see it with them.
Right. That's cool. That's very cool. Um, do you think, I mean, I think this might ring true of always of all entrepreneurs, business owners, people who are, commission based, self-employed, whatever you want to call it. We're always looking towards that, like that next goal. What's that next milestone? What's that next threshold that you want to achieve? With that in mind, what do you do to stay happy in the moment?
I don't know, man. Like I kind of said, I see these windows, especially with your, it's hard with your kids and your wife because you see them every day, right? So it seems like you have an insurmountable of opportunity. And so you can take it for granted really easy, right? And so, like, yeah, it might be hard to get up in the morning, but when I'm up, I make them all breakfast. I don't know. I just do these things. I just try to be with them. Uh, yeah, dedicate my time specifically, make these plans to do things with them specifically. But again, in moments like this with your friends that you don't see that often, or with your parents, your grandparents, it's like making the most of every opportunity. And that's caring. Like I go see my grandparents. They're like 80 something, and I'm just like so interested in what they got going on. I'll sit with them for half an hour. Time will just go by. You know, that's it. That's it. I don't worry about the time so much. Like I worry that this time is limited. I know that.
Right.
But some people just put such rigid times on, oh, I've only got 30 minutes. I only got 20 minutes. I just don't sit down like that. I just sit down and chat and I don't even look at the clock. I'm just sitting there and we have the time that we have. I don't rush it. I don't feel like I need to leave. It's just so valuable. I'm here. I think I do that with a lot of people I talk to, even my clients.
Hmm.
Just, I'm here. I'm with you. You have my time. I don't hoard it. I don't, yeah, that's kind of, yeah, how
I
I
love
make
that.
it.
Yeah. And I feel like that makes the person you're sitting with feel valued and important in your life.
Yeah, I think you could feel it on the other end if someone was like that. You can feel it. And I kind of like that was hard in the bank too because they would jam like 5 appointments in a day for me, so I couldn't live that. I had to rush. I had to push everybody. So okay, yep, I'm have another appointment here waiting for me, so I gotta go. You know, I hated that. That's the worst feeling.
Right.
You know, I still am still invested in that conversation. I don't want it to end.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do that even with here. Like you know how we get on the podcast. Like I could just sit here and chat. I don't want try not to worry about time too much. Like even though it is a thing, it does happen.
Yeah. Yeah. For our listeners, we try to keep our episodes under an hour. We've got like a little clock that runs under our recording software here. And gosh, it is hard to keep it under an hour.
I hate it. I hate it.
Right. Um, all right. Maybe one more question here for you, Richard. And then Richard's got to pick the kiddos up. So we're going to let him go. But if you could give the, call it 22-year-old version of yourself one piece of advice, what would that be?
Hmm. Dude, it's so weird. Like I'm so happy with what I've accomplished and where I am in my life. I feel like I've accomplished more than I anticipated I would already.
Hmm.
So I almost want to tell him to like keep going, like keep doing what you're doing. If there's things I would have wish I would have known earlier, I wish I'd done earlier. I wish I would have left the bank earlier. I wish I would have taken control of my life a little earlier.
Did you ever think about leaving the bank earlier than you did?
I don't know, man. I was in it. I was so sucked in. I started there when I was 19, dude. So I was like brainwashed in a
Right.
sense. Like it was just everything I had known. And like I said, you know, growing up, I didn't really have a lot. I came from like a lower middle class family. Uh, I didn't go to university. I didn't have a lot of money. I made some mistakes in my late teens that I thought were going to haunt me for the rest of my life. Um, didn't think of myself as like the smartest person in the world either, right? So it's like I didn't have great grades in high school. I was pretty careless. I get by, whatever. I
Mm-hmm.
partied a lot. And so like I don't know, like so I've achieved more than I expected. And so even at 22 when I was in the bank and I was getting a promotion, I was like, "Holy crap. This is the best thing I could have expected." And so I never really got mad about it. But then as I started going through the bank and I started to develop skills or I started to have success, I didn't think it was the bank that was being successful. It was me. And they were kind of trying to take all the credit for it. And that started to really get to me.
Right.
And so I think at some point I realized that it wasn't them, it was me that was having the success and that I was actually worth something more than what they had told me I was. And yeah, I think that's why it started to become a little bit of a conflicting because I was battling with that. There was two sides to me. There was one that wanted to be loyal and stick to it and to be with the people that had helped me change my life, really, because I felt like the bank, I gave them credit for helping me move along and have success in my life. And I didn't take the credit myself. And I started to realize that, holy crap, this is me that's doing this. This isn't the bank. This is me. I started taking credit for myself
Right.
and developing my own skills. And then, you break out of that box. So yeah, if I would have any advice for my 22-year-old self is give yourself some more credit.
Right. Don't settle.
Don't settle. Give
Like,
yourself some more credit and have something that I get from my therapist is have some self compassion. Have some self compassion. That is something that we all lack.
I like that. I like that a lot. Richard, this has been a lovely hour getting to know more about you. Um,
You really got like more about what I think.
right.
You're digging on more
Right.
about what I think. I went through like more about what your life was like.
Right. I, I've just done a lot of stuff without a lot of personal growth. No, I mean, I've grown
Off.
personally, but, yeah, no, Richard, this, for our listeners out there, I've only known Richard, what, 6 months, 7 months? Um, and, yeah, we've gotten to know each other pretty well throughout that time, but like, it's, not to be too sappy, but he's a great guy. He's ethical as can be. His heart's in the right place. He, to use a sports analogy, gives 110%. Um, you know, whether it's mortgages, financial advice, um, friendship, like anything, like he's a good one to have on your team.
You're trying to make me cry, dude. I know what you're doing.
Good. Good. Is it working?
Just about. Just about.
Good. Good. Um, And well, here, I'll switch it up. Get to the important stuff here. So, this is our last episode before the holiday break, everyone. Um, why don't you do yourself a favor and give yourself the gift of audio um, greatness in the new year and get subscribed to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube. If you have a chance to review our podcast too, go ahead and throw some stars on there for us. It helps get our show out to more people. We've got some great guests lined up for the new year. We're going to be putting out an episode every week, so you'll want to be tuned in for those because we're going to meet some great people in the community and just hear their stories, and it's just super interesting stuff. Richard, anything to add there?
I'm having a blast, man. This is
right.
The idea is actually what I thought it was going to be is really coming around, and it's you give me too much credit because it's both of us, honestly, and I think that's what makes the dream work is the teamwork. And so next year, man, I don't even know. Like I'm just like, let's get to the next interview because I'm stoked.
Right. Right.
Nice to talk about ourselves, but I am excited for these guests.
Yes, absolutely. I think I speak for both Richard and I when we want to wish everyone a very happy holidays, no matter what you're celebrating, whether it be Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, Eid, whatever holidays out there. Please enjoy. We wish you all the most prosperous new year. And if you're thinking about chasing that dream, getting into some entrepreneurship, you've got our full support. And, we can't wait to see what you guys do out there.
Hell yeah. And yeah, like we are pretty open people. Like you're welcome to give us a call and pick our brains.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We can help you in any regard. That's what we're all about. So.
And we won't pretend to have answers that we don't know the answers to. So can promise you that. But as always, everyone, thank you so much for stopping by our open house.
I hope you enjoyed the nice chat. Please come again when the house is open.
Cue the outro.